Hi, welcome to the Relationship Healing Workshop with me, Geetika Nayyar. We have been doing this workshop for quite some time now. It's a 30-day workshop which you can watch on YouTube, Instagram, and Facebook. So, we have reached to the point where we are actually healing the relationship now. So, in a relationship where two people are involved, it could be your friend, it could be your spouse, partner, it could be a colleague, it could be your parents, your brother, sister, or your children. Okay, so anybody you have a problem with, there are usually some emotions that come up. So the first primary emotion that people usually think is anger. They think I'm angry with this person because this person didn't do this, but there are a lot of hidden emotions inside. So, just to understand what we are going to heal, before we move forward, we're just going to understand what emotions can really do to our relationship. So, for example, if I am very snappy, I'm angry, and I'm just getting very irritated. So, those are, one group of emotions. Angry, I snap at the person, I'm irritated, I'm frustrated. And a bigger version of that is hurt, resentment. Well, like, I'm deeply hurt. Anger, if not checked, leads to resentment. So, it starts from irritation, frustration, disappointment, and then it goes up to resentment and hurt. Resentment and hurt, they say, are the topmost in the anger category. Then there are many emotions like sadness. And now you would say, but if I am upset with a person, where does the sadness come in? But sadness is the underlying emotion. So sadness is the root thing. So you feel sad because that person did not do what you want them to do, or you had certain expectations of that person and they were not met. So that made you feel very sad. And then because you are sad, you don't want to show your sadness, so you're showing your anger. A lot of times we are overwhelmed. There are a lot of guests at home, or there are so many people and kids, we have to manage kids and all, and then we expect our partner to share the load and he doesn't do it, and then we feel overwhelmed. Now we are overwhelmed, but we don't want to show that we are overwhelmed. We don't want to show that we are, you know we need help or something. So what we do is we snap, or we get angry. So the entire relationship dynamic changes because of these expectations, and also because of unresolved emotions on our part. So here, with the help of EFT, emotional freedom technique, we are going to resolve certain emotions. But today I'm going to discuss an emotion with you which you would have never thought of, and it is a very, very powerful emotion. You can do this alongside with me, and you would not even have thought of this emotion. Like, people talk about anger, sadness, resentment, but they don't talk about grief. And today we are going to do healing on grief. So you might think that, oh, Gitika, grief means that if somebody has passed away, then we grieve that person, but we also grieve relationships. If I have a relationship with someone which is not going good, like I'm really upset, I'm really hurt about it. I am angry also, but nothing is happening, nothing is moving, I'm stuck. So then I also feel grief inside me. Grief is what? It's deep sadness. It's a sadness which is not temporary. It's like it touches you to the core. It's a soul level sadness. And you can have this grief that you did not have the relationship that you wanted. So it's a big regret, or sort of a big sadness that people have, and they don't realize that they have this, but they have this deep sadness that, oh, I wish this person could have been different. I wish I had a better relationship with this person. I wish maybe he was somebody else. So we all have failed expectations in relationships, and this grief really touches it. So in EFT, in order to solve an emotion, in order to heal an emotion, what we do is we make a statement first. So here I'm going to make a statement, even though I have this grief that this relationship is not the way I wanted, I deeply and completely accept myself. So you have to keep making on statements, whichever statement suits you the best, whichever statement hits your nerve. That is something which you need to deal with. So we can make a statement, even though I have this grief that this person is not loving, or this person did not accept me, or this person has not treated me well, or you know any deep sadness about that relationship, then you can do that. So let us do with a general thing. So let's start. Even though I have this grief that this relationship was not how I wanted it to be, I deeply and completely accept myself. Even though I have this grief that this relationship was not how I wanted, I deeply and completely accept myself. Even though I have this grief that this relationship was not how I wanted, I deeply and completely accept myself. Now we're going to take the reminder statement, the in between part. This grief that this person was not how I wanted. This grief that this relationship was not how I wanted. This grief that this relationship was not how I wanted. This grief that this relationship was not how I wanted. This grief that this relationship was not how I wanted. This grief that this relationship was not how I wanted. This grief that this relationship was not how I wanted. This grief that this relationship was not how I wanted. This grief that this relationship was not how I wanted. This grief that this relationship was not how I wanted. This grief that this relationship was not how I wanted. This grief that this relationship was not how I wanted. This grief that this relationship was not how I wanted. This grief that this relationship was not how I wanted. This grief that this relationship was not how I wanted. Now, gamut, just going to tap on it. Close your eyes, open your eyes. Eyes sharp down right, eyes sharp down left. Rotate, rotate again, anti-clockwise. Hmm, 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 hmm. Hmm, 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 hmm. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Hmm, 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 hmm. Hmm, 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 hmm. This grief that this relationship was not how I wanted. This grief that this relationship was not how I wanted. This grief that this relationship was not how I wanted. This grief that this relationship was not how I wanted. This grief that this relationship was not how I wanted. This grief that this relationship was not how I wanted. This grief that this relationship was not how I wanted. This grief that this relationship was not how I wanted. This grief that this relationship was not how I wanted. This grief that this relationship was not how I wanted. This grief that this relationship was not how I wanted. This grief that this relationship was not how I wanted. This grief that this relationship was not how I wanted. This grief that this relationship was not how I wanted. This grief that this relationship was not how I wanted. Close your eyes. Inhale and exhale gently. Just relax. Now, this is round one of EFT. You can do two, three rounds like this, and you can also access the SUDS level. Now, I did not ask you to access your SUDS level in this one because most people are not aware. They'll say, grief kya hota hai? I don't think I have grief. I just have a bad relationship with this person. But on a deeper level, if you remove the grief, then the blocked energy gets removed and you get healed faster. And you sort of open the doorway to more better healing. So that's why I started with this profound, like this very deep emotion, grief. And maybe in the next video, we're going to do on simpler emotions like anger and like sadness. But you got the hang of it, how to do this. So you can do this as many number of times as you want until you start feeling better. And then you just think about that person and you will experience a shift, and you will also experience a shift in your behavior towards them and their behavior as well. So take care and until next time.